Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of chapter 3. Today we're talking about direct variation. So direct variation equations, a direct variation describes an equation in the form y equals kx, where k can't be 0, and we say that y varies directly as x. In the equation y equals kx, k is the constant of variation. So these are proportional relationships you may have heard in 8th grade. Proportional as well as direct variation are really the same thing. So, example 1, name a constant of variation for the equation. Find the slope, then find the slope of the line that passes through the pair of points. So, the constant of variation here is 1/2, because that's what I'm multiplying by x. And if I find the slope, I go up 1 over 2. So the slope equals 1/2. So the constant of variation is the slope for direct variations. So now a second example is suppose y varies directly as x when y equals 30 and x equals 5. Find the k value. So we know the equation is y equals kx. So I'm going to substitute 30 for y, 5 for x, and then I'm going to solve. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5. So k equals 6. Then write a direct variation equation. So that would be y equals 6x, because I just substituted the k into the y equals kx. And then use the direct variation equation to find x when y equals 18. So we take y equals 6x. We're going to put y in as 18 equals 6x. We divide both sides by 6, and x equals 3. So I want you to pause, and I want you to do questions 1 through 5, and then come back. So I hope you did those problems. So number 1, my k value is my slope, so it's -2. Number 2, my k value and my slope are 3. 3, my k value and my slope are 3/2. Number 4, when I write my equation, it's y equals 2x, which gives me y equals 32. Number 5, when I write my equation, it's y equals -3x, and x equals -2. So here are 2 more that I'm going to do with you. So I start with y equals kx. So it's -4.8 equals k times -1.6. I divide both sides by -1.6. I find out 3 equals k. So the equation is y equals 3x. So then -24 equals 3x. I divide by 3. -8 equals x. Number 7, again, I start with y equals kx. So it's 1/4 equals k times 1/8. I multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 1/8, which is 8 over 1. I find out that 2 equals k. So the equation is y equals 2x. So 3/16 equals 2x. Multiply both sides by 1/2 or divide by 2. And 3/32 equals x. So direct variation problems. The distance formula, d equals rt, is a direct variation equation. In the formula, d varies directly as time, and the rate as a constant variation. Example, a family drove their car 225 miles in 5 hours. Write a direct variation equation to find the distance traveled for any number of hours. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use d equals rt. So we need to find out how fast they were driving. So 225 is our distance, equals our rate times 5. We divide both sides by 5, and we find out that their rate was 45 miles per hour, because it was miles and hours. So therefore our equation is d equals 45t. and that represents how far they would drive for any number of hours t. And that's exactly what we got down here in this graph. The graph of d equals 45t passes through the origin and has a slope of 45. So we start at 0 and we go up 45 over 1, and we repeat that. And you'll notice that the point 5, 225 is on the graph. Estimate how long it would take the family to drive 360 miles. So that's our d. So we start with d equals 45t. So it's 360 equals 45t. We divide both sides by 45. We find out that it's 8 hours. So now, in retail, the total cost C of bulk jelly beans is $4.49 times the number of pounds. So that means C equals 449 P. And that is again a direct variation because it follows the form y equals kx. Graph it. So that has a y-intercept of 0, and it has a slope of 4.49 per pound. So it's 449 per 1. So over 1, 449. Over 2 is 998. And we follow that trend because it's linear. And there's our find the cost of 3/4 of a pound. So we're going to do C equals 4.49 times 3/4. Sorry, my Cammie's writing weird for me. And we do that on our calculator. And that gives me 3.3675. But it's money, so we always round to the nearest cent. So it's $3.37. Which, if we look at a graph, it is approximately right. It's less than 450. Direct variation graphs, important notes, have the form y equals kx. Y equals ks passes through the origin, always. If the slope is greater than 0, it's positive, it goes up. If it's negative, it goes down. And that is it for today. And we will pick up from there. Have a good night.